Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff, and Bucket's not here. He's not feeling real well, so, we let him off the hook for this week.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because there's no news, so we're just going to talk about the games that we've been playing, and one of them is a game that he's, been playing, because he bought Baldur's Gate in early access, the second it hit early access, a year ago or whatever.
It was a little bit after early access, after it first originally came out. That was 2 years ago, too, when it first came out.
I don't know. I just remember he was, a super early adopter, because he, I think, had played the previous ones, but, I mean, it's a D&D game, essentially, so it's kind of like his thing.
Baldur's Gate has always been, the video game D&D world. Whenever it's Baldur's Gate, they always use the D&D rule set and the lore inside of it.
I think Baldur's Gate 2 was a D&D, because when I loaded it up, I was like, let me test this out, and started talking about THAC0, and I was like, oh, I don't like the THAC0 system, though. Maybe I don't want to test this out.
Yeah.
Just a little bit closer. There we go. Yeah, so it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. But this one is D&D 5e, essentially, so the good one.
The good one.
I mean,
this one is really good. They homebrewed a
lot
lot
of
of stuff in
stuff.
this too, but they were working within the constraints of the game to make it more compatible in the video game sense. So,
well, I mean, it makes sense.
So far, I have seen
we've played 2 hours.
I've watched a little bit of it too.
You play longer than I have. I created my character and then had to go to a concert last night, so I'm okay. And then I had a meeting with my mom.
I'm
an adult. Had a meeting with my mom.
We won't go into details of what we did, but we did get that thing finished early on in the story, in the tutorial section. Griff, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the special thing.
Yeah, that thing. We finished that.
If you have no idea about this game or have been watching anything about it, you probably wouldn't know, because I didn't know until Chicken's like, we're gonna do this thing, and I'm like, okay, we can do that thing, I guess, if you know.
It's pretty difficult. We got very lucky. I wish I could talk about it.
There's
but
a
we
combat
got very
thing
lucky. There. Yeah, it's a combat thing.
Yeah.
We got very lucky and then almost got extremely unlucky.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this worked out fine, and then we're like, oh, because I didn't realize that it's one of those times where you're like, oh, I've come to this person's aid. I have killed the thing that they were trying to kill. Now they're trying to kill me. The betrayal.
It went like this. Our first attempt, it was really, really, really rough, and we lost. Second attempt,
save scum.
We got really, of course, save scum.
Save scum the hell out of that.
Yeah, you always save scum in games like that. It went super in our favor. We got so lucky that it all went just right to let us, and then we won. And then the thing that we were trying to work in our favor turned against us, and literally almost one-shot our entire party. 3 of the 4 people went down immediately. Yeah. I'm the only one that survived with a lucky roll.
It's like, run away. You run away.
Yeah, so I got somebody up and just sprinted to the end real quick, and I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out, because I didn't want to risk having to do that again. But yeah, it was close, way too close, especially with all the work that we had to do to get that part done.
I'm sad I lost my little buddy, but that's okay. I've already made a new friend, I guess, but
yes.
Always sad about it, because it's one of those little buddies that you're like, oh, you're kind of hideous, but that makes you cute. What did you end up rolling, Oak? Because you didn't say. You told us before the show kind of what your dude looks like, but you didn't say.
Half-elf bard.
Okay.
Half-elf bard, hell yeah, that's a good one to run. Bard is a lot of fun. You get to make your own music too.
Yep.
I'm
excited about playing it, and I was like, okay, I want to choose, because you all are D&D people, you all do the, play with other people and stuff with the actual D&D stuff, and I'm not.
Right.
So I'm kind of new to the whole thing, and so I was like, okay, I've been watching Co-Carnage play a good bit of it, and I'd flip on a few of my friends that were playing as well, and just kind of see how everybody was playing. And I already decided I wanted to be a bard, just because I thought it'd be kind of fun to do.
That's a good intro character to actual D&D too. A lot of people go that route.
You can do a lot of the RP with bards, because they allow for a lot of options.
So it was a good choice. I think that's a good choice for you. Yeah.
And so I chose it, and I was like, okay, do I want to go with hair or do I want to look like me? So I ended up going bald on my character. And I think it's hilarious because like the default, of course, is like barbarian is like the default one, the characters up there before you start flipping through all the different stuff. And he's got like, I had him bald with all the tattoo that I got on him and all that stuff.
And then you
like,
switched classes.
This badass outfit, and I switched to the bard outfit, and he looks like a fucking jester. He's like, ta-da!
Ew.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh man.
I'm like, okay.
See, Chicken had an experience that I have a lot when we were doing character creation last night. Because I'm like, I've looked at the classes. I'll figure out what I think my character's actually like when I'm actually building them. And Chicken had that moment last night because he usually goes in with like, this is what I'm gonna make, and he's kind of a planner for it and stuff like that. And he rolled a lady gnome monk. And he was like, it just came to me at the moment. It was a spur of the moment decision. This is what I needed.
I was going through the classes, and I was like, I was between monk and druid, and I was like, okay, she's gonna go cleric. Let's try something melee too, because I was like, I'll maybe play a druid on solo run. So I decided to go monk. Started going through the races and whatnot, and I was like, yeah. A no monk. I don't know. For some reason, it's like yeah, just a no monk. It's this like cute fiery ball of fury where it's like, oh yeah, she's nice, and then you piss her off, she just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I've watched her kick things in the face, and it's like, but you're like 3 feet tall, and she's like, yeah, I got hops.
I'm gonna go with the way of the fist style, so she just punches like boulders. Like she's gonna go crazy. She's super nice.
She's the right height for all of those dick punches. That's right.
Oh yeah. And you don't want to get dick punched by like the iron-fisted gnome. It's like, oh god. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's seen those Mortal Kombat ones where it's just slow-mos and then you watch the bones shatter. Oh god.
No.
But yeah, like I was like, all right, cool. This
pink
is what
hair
we're
and
going
everything,
with.
like cute little pink hairdo.
How long did it take you all to create your character?
About an hour.
45 minutes. Yeah, like
About
half
an
an
hour.
hour, 45. My character specifically, but then it opens up
an
to
hour,
the second
hour and a
one.
half, somewhere in between there.
Well, see, that's I'd say about 45 minutes for me for my main character, and then it's like, oh, and you also have to customize this guardian who I have yet to meet in game, and so that was like another 30 minutes or so of me going, this one. I
made my guardian a half orc, like an older half orc, where it's like he's got this little gnome. I was going critical role style with
Pike and Grog.
Yeah, Pike and Grog. So I went with this older half orc, this bearded, he's kind of more mature and whatnot, and then this younger monk. I have no idea what place they are in the story, so I don't know how that plans out.
My guardian, I went female. I remember that. I want to say is an elf, and I went a different, whatever my lineage was high elf, I think. I went with wood elf for her.
See,
and then but I was like, I don't know anything about this shit, so it's like I just wanted that. But in my brain, she's like stoic and just like a hard ass, and my character is gonna be like,
yeah.
That's the point. You build these stories in your head, and then you kind of get to play them out as you feel, and then watch your characters grow as you make choices for them.
That's kind of how I was, like, because I started making mine, and I was like, well, I like this face, and she looks kind of younger, and she's got like this pink purple hairdo kind of thing happening, and she's a cleric, but I made her the nature domain cleric, so she's like, I'm a cleric, but I kind of cosplay as a druid. So I imagine her being kind of nature-y, hippie-ish almost, and she's a half-elf, but she's half-elf with the noble elf side. And it's one of those things where I made her guardian a full noble elf, and he's like, oh my fucking god, could you stop embarrassing the fucking family? Have some manners. And I'm like, no, I found this stick, and now I'm gonna take it to dinner with me. So, my characters are two very different. Like, he's like, oh my god, constant eye roll. And she's like, I just like things outside. I'm gonna go talk to that donkey. Stop it.
She tried to talk to a boar.
It ran away. I was sad. I'm like, but we had such a bond, Mr. Boar. We could have gone places. I could have saved you from becoming inevitable bacon in the forest.
Oh,
I'm
too
excited.
funny.
We recruited
Mhm.
two
Three.
party members. Well, we met one and then they disappeared, and then
We met
one of the
two,
ones.
and they both of them disappeared. Then we recovered one, and then
Yeah.
got two more.
Yeah. So we've made some friends. I'm pretty excited. I don't know how many total party members there are to collect. Like, gotta collect them all. It's Pokemon.
7.
But I'm pretty excited about meeting the rest of them because I think so far the intros have been pretty fun. It's like, okay, that's expected because we saw that in the trailer for the game. Okay, that one's not too bad. I would expect that because we're still in the bad place. And then like the other two, it's kind of the personalities. Larian does a really good job with personalities, and
They've
I love it.
only improved over the course of their Divinity games too.
It's very Divinity-ish.
Oh my god.
So I will say
Like-
the soundtrack kicked up at one point when we were on that beach, and I was like, that is the soundtrack for Divinity. I hope they have, a little more.
Oh, trust me, you will hear Down by the River all
A
the
lot.
time. All the time. All the time. It will burrow into your head
And
like
live
a
there.
certain part and just live there.
We're talking a lot about Baldur's Gate because we've been playing it, and for me, it's one of the first new games that I've bought in a long time, and I didn't even buy it. Chicken did because he gave in.
I was like,
oh
being a
no,
sweet
I
husband is all I
disagree.
heard.
Oh my
I was on
god.
that bridge going, watching people play it and like thinking about all the things to do in it and wanting to play it, and I was like, oh man, can we do it? Can I just wait? Nope.
Well,
'Cause
see, that's the
Griff-
thing is I was
Griff
trying to
wasn't
be.
hard being against it either. She wasn't being like, no, we need to wait. We're
Well,
gonna
but
wait. She's like,
but I was trying to be responsible. I really want to play it. I mean, obviously, I'm enjoying the shit out of it. But I was trying to be a responsible adult because we have, car payment, daycare payment, and we're still buying diapers and all that shit because we have real life stuff and all. But I've got Saints Row that's coming out on Steam finally on the 27th, and that's a day one purchase. So I knew I had a game already this month that I was gonna pick up. And then Silent Hill is supposed to be this year, although it still has no release date. So I don't know if I believe it. But I was trying to be responsible and go, okay, well, that's going to be probably October-ish if I had to guess when they would want to launch it. And then we've got holiday stuff right after that, so I've got to, make sure I've got budgets because we've got to do Christmas shopping and everything. So I shouldn't buy another game, especially, at launch because it's full price and everything. Chicken's like, yeah, but I want to play it. So I was like, oh, no. Oh, we really should be responsible.
there are
yesterday.
10 companions.
10 companions.
And apparently a couple of them people don't know how to get yet. They're from previous games too. So
Oh.
This game is unbelievably huge that there are secrets everywhere.
Oh,
Good.
Baldur's Gate is a place, and
Yeah.
I know this, like, on a base level, I know that's the thing, that it's a place in the world. But one of the guys we met, he's like, yeah, I'm from Baldur's Gate. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm from the first game. That's right, I'm making a return. Like, because that's how it comes across to me. Is like, they're like, I was in the
Yeah.
other game. Like, oh, God.
This one's like 200 years or 150 years or something since the last one.
I have
There's
no
a-
idea. I don't know any of the lore around
It's
any
a
of the
massive
games.
difference in age there.
Yeah.
Because I know that Co Carnage's character that he plays is like the great grandson of
A
the one
previous
from
character?
2.
Yeah.
So there's, I guess that makes sense because the Baldur's Gate 2 came out in, 2000? So 23 years ago in real time? Yeah, that's going to cause some age skip.
Well,
Yeah,
you've also got to understand that like 200 years is absolutely nothing
Yeah, I
for
mean,
a lot of characters.
Yeah, because elves live forever and things. Well, they
Yeah,
don't
they
live
live-
forever, but they live a long
and-
time.
But I think they
Like,
also
even-
did that from a standpoint of if you've never played the first 2 games,
Mhm.
You don't have to.
feel
Yeah.
you don't feel like you have to on this.
Well,
It's
the
more of
first
you're
2
just
are so
playing
dated.
new.
I was gonna, I loaded it up this week, Baldur's Gate 2, because it's been sitting in my Steam library for a long time, and I was like, oh, this is old. This is gonna be
Yeah.
tough. And then
Yeah.
it mentioned the THACO system, and I was like, I don't think I want to play that because I had experience with that in actual D&D, and I do not care for it. I think it complicates stuff really, but I know there's like 100 million D&D nerds over there yelling at me right now, and I'm sorry. 5e
It's
is
100
streamlined. I like it better.
Baldur's Gate 3 is 120 years after Baldur's Gate 2.
Or 120,
Shadows of
okay.
Which is like one generation of people. and
Yeah.
like
1.5-ish.
yeah, they live to be they can live to 70 to 80 years old. So yeah,
2-ish. Two generations.
It's not too far out of the events,
No, I
but it
think
is
it's
far enough to where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's far enough that it still had like world impact, but it doesn't have immediate impact on your life probably for you to not know.
I could see them if they want to get wild to going back and remaking the original Baldur's Gate in this new format. Because it's a story already known, and all you like you'd have to just bring everything into the modern age. Because you could just redo those stories. Because I guarantee, the D&D company. What are those
Wizards
their
of the
name?
Coast.
Yeah, they will not.
Hasbro.
Yes.
They will not be giving the rights to do any of their Baldur Gate game to anybody but Larian now. Like Larian
I mean, it's
Studios
kind of
has
Larian's
full
wheelhouse.
rights.
Like, play Divinity for 5 minutes and you'll see it. It's just that in Divinity you don't have to actually roll the dice. It does that all behind the scenes for you. All they're doing with this one is putting
rolling
it.
of the dice.
Yeah, like I don't disagree.
Everybody likes
Yeah, I
rolling the
mean,
dice.
so I think that's all that the difference between Divinity and this is as far as gameplay goes. Which is that's not a bad thing. I have like 300 hours in Divinity. I love it. This is perfect. This is perfect. Do it.
And apparently Larian has suitors trying to invest into the company, and Larian's like,
no.
We appreciate it, we like it, but we're gonna stay independent.
Thanks for trying to throw money at us, but we're good.
I feel like that's like perfect for like Embracer Group, Microsoft, somebody like that to go in and go, you can still be all independent all you want to. All we're gonna do is just give you money.
I think that they'd probably for a little while try to be like, no, we still don't want to do even that amount. We just want to be 100% our own entity, which I don't
I think if they can build one more IP, like individual IP,
another Divinity style game.
That's their own. They could probably get away with that, and they'll just be known as the D&D style people.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
The CRPG.
100%. The CRPG people. Yeah. If I had to guess, THQ Nordic would be the only one that I'd be like, go with them if you're gonna go with anybody, because they're the only one. Like, them are hardcore. Do your own thing. We'll give you money. Just do what you do best.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Microsoft seems a little like pushy with it, and they haven't had the greatest track record with their releases with their companies yet. I mean, Bethesda has been a bomb, but
that's more.
They've also been a downward.
Bethesda was a bomb before they got.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bethesda was slipping before they got purchased.
Yeah, but you think,
but it just didn't.
Kind of
it didn't improve the situation until we'll find out. Starfield is right on the horizon.
Starfield.
We'll find out.
Unfortunately, every time I see people talking about that, they're like, "Oh yeah, I expect it to be a buggy mess, like usual Bethesda games." It's like, "Oh, that hurts me that is what we're looking at normal now."
Yeah, for me, that one's like, "Well, I'll play it on Game Pass."
Even Skyrim was a buggy mess.
It was.
Oh yeah,
but Skyrim and like Fallout 4.
What they had.
Yeah, well, they had those things where it's like, "Oh, look at the bug. It's endearing because this doesn't happen all of the time." And now we're like, "Oh, they just leaned into that and took it as the okay to be garbage," and it's not okay. Like,
yeah, then you got Fallout 76, and then you've got
Fallout 76. They even know they shouldn't have been.
That thing was just.
They've improved a lot, which is good.
Howard had nothing to do with that game. Like he was working on other stuff, and so all he's going out is promoting a game that he's like, okay, cool, this will be ready and done, and then that's what gets released, which I think is why he is now like, Starfield is my baby. I am taking care of this. It's the first IP we released in, what was it, 20 years, 25 years?
Yeah, it was a long fucking time. So. What was that game that just came out? Red Hunt or whatever it was?
Redfall.
Redfall. Yeah, that game came out and bombed pretty bad too. It's like,
I don't think that they marketed that game very well either.
That was from Arcane Studios too,
because it was. But that's the part of the problem is that game, even for somebody like me, where it's like, okay, I've seen the trailers for it. The game that came out was not the game I thought they were showing to us.
Really, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be, but because that wasn't anything like what Arcane should have been giving out. It was a crappy multiplayer vampire
shooter kind of
shooter game.
I also feel like it came out too quick after Deathloop, which they also did.
Well, Deathloop did pretty well though.
Deathloop did well, but what I'm saying is they needed one more year in the cooker
Yeah.
because they still had Deathloop, and Deathloop had a PlayStation exclusivity for an entire year before it even was released on Xbox.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I don't know. I feel like that one should have been out a little longer. But I mean, they've had you've got Rare has Sea of Thieves, which is one of the ones they've done. Of course,
That's how games are done. Solid foundation and just build on it. People enjoy the base game and the base loop, like Exoprimal, which we've also been playing, and then you build on top of that.
Oblivion, not Oblivion.
I was like, wait,
Obsidian.
that's
Obsidian. I do that every time. Obsidian, of course, had Grounded, which again, early access. They made sure that they knocked all the little bugs and stuff out. Pun intended. And then, and then they did the full release. It was there, and they gave us a storyline along with it. They didn't give us the story until the full release, which was great. That was really well done on their part.
Solid foundation, build up from it. Again, good style of developing.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see once the Activision Blizzard stuff actually gets finished.
How
what
that
kind
goes.
of yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of quality are we gonna get out of future? You know, I don't know anything from them, because Call of Duty, I guess, is like got its own benchmark already planned out. So I don't know. I don't think that's gonna go poorly.
I find this all interesting too, because so the juggernaut back in the 80s was Atari, right? Activision was founded from people that left Atari to create third-party games for the Atari system. And at one time after the crash, they went actually out of way and ended up being called a different company for a little while. And now they've come back and now they're being bought by Microsoft for $69 billion. Like, it's just crazy to me, like just how everything moves around. You two know this, but not everybody knows this. I've been listening to a gaming history book, and oh my God, just like knowing the history of some of these companies and where they're at now is just insane to me. And like right now is in the part of the book is the death of Sega, essentially.
Aww. Sad.
Sega's not dead yet.
Every time you say it, I only hear the like Sonic games start up where it's like Sega.
Yeah, that was one of my earliest gaming memories ever, was loading up Sonic on the
they
Sega.
did it. The interesting thing too, what I remember, you two might be too young for this, but there was when the Genesis came out, they pushed this whole narrative for their commercials, which is just a dude randomly yelling Sega. And so it became a phenomenon. People would greet each other that way. So you knew people were Sega people. But they wanted the more adult games. So they were like sports games and stuff like that on their platform. And then once they got taken to Congress with Nintendo, it was Nintendo, them, and I don't think it was Sony yet for that one. And they were like, we're family friendly too. And they're like, are you?
You're yelling Sega at people. Stop it. You're that family friendly, like weirdo family member.
But that's how we ended up with the rating system, was because of that, because of going to Congress. And they created their own industry rating system.
Oh.
But
I was like, oh no, who am I getting texts from right now? Nobody texts me. It's all over Discord. That's our weather thing. Severe thunderstorm. So, if we disappear, that's probably...
I heard a deep minute ago, and I forget that's what it was.
It's really hot, and there's storms that are about to roll through, so expect them to be violent, is the kind of the gist of that stuff. But
I'll just unplug everything and then play on my Steam Deck.
Well, Chicken's battery backup died, so we got to get him a new one of those.
It died.
Dude.
It was blown out by a fucking storm.
Yep. Yeah, last week, so we gotta go get another one.
To be fair, it saved my computer. Yeah, I was gonna say, it saved my computer a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna move it so that I can plug in the router and the modem into it too, and my computer, so that when the power does go out, we still have full internet and everything.
For like a second.
Well, it has about 10 minutes of power, which is fine. I could be like, hey, we lost power. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready to shut down. But if it comes back, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it on for a minute.
Yeah. Would be helpful for things like rating that we're doing right now, because you're kind of important.
Or if we're doing the podcast right now, it would be like, okay, power's out, but we're still here, still recording.
Yeah, I'm about to buy a third one and put just my router on it, because I've got two, but for one for each PC, and then my PlayStation and stuff are all hooked into one of those too. But they're just set up to where the surge protection works, not the battery part on that, but where the other two are, the PCs are actually set up for the power consumption part of it. But I'm like, I want it to where, because it's not going to suck as much electricity as these two PCs will. So it's like I could just have that sitting over there by itself, and like maybe have an hour's worth of internet or something like that if the power does go out.
You know, I was looking at your background, and this is totally just an aside, and then you can say whatever you're going to say. I was like, why does he have a bag sitting there? What is that bag? That's your PlayStation.
I was like, what bag?
I figured it out. It looked like a bag sitting like on the shelf or something.
There was a PlayStation logo on it.
I couldn't see it very well.
And this is an Xbox, and then this is for the Nintendo Switch.
Well, okay, look. To be fair, it's also because the monitor that I run, like this monitor that I'm using, not this one, but this one, is the low quality one, so I can't see it as well as I should be able to. I have a new monitor on my list.
If it looks like a bag, you might want to invest in.
Like, a new
even a $99
a new monitor is on my Christmas list. Ooh. I already told Chicken that's what I would like.
This actually leads into what I was going to say. For a PSA, yes, recommend backup power supplies for all of your technical pieces, always, always. And two, Best Buy has a recycle discount. So if you take in something that has already died, like our power supply that literally just died, you take it in there for a recycle, they'll give you a 15% discount on a purchase. So I take the one that just died in, and I buy a new one, I get a discount off of it. Recycle, please. Oh my god, like it hurts me.
I guess I need to take that TV that's broken and in the box right now.
Which I'll ask them when we take back the power thing. Is like, do you guys take TVs? It's like a 30-something inch, 40-inch. I mean, I'll even pay you to take it. The backlights are out. I just don't want to throw it away. Circuit boards being in the dump is not good.
Yeah.
Especially with how hard getting circuit boards are these days. Let's try not to throw them all just in the trash.
Well, because there's companies that buy that from them.
Well, they also do refurb cells.
Yeah, like it's just the backlights. It's that easy. You take that motherfucker apart, you put new backlights in it, you can you sell it for refurbished, and it's good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I feel bad about throwing stuff like that away because
This is a weird podcast. Like, I'm really enjoying the shit out of it because they're just having a random conversation. By the way, folks, if y'all ever wanted to know what our conversations sound like normally, this is
pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's because I'll be honest with you, we looked through 2 weeks worth of like gaming news, and it is literally just a bunch of bloaty stuff. Like, one of the things Chicken was scrolling past, and I was looking over his shoulder, was like, Overwatch's new enigma is John Cena, and I was like, what is that about? They made a short, John Cena stars in it. That's it.
I don't even think you see his face. It's just like the little cinematic thing for their story missions, and it's some guy in a hood narrating.
Yeah, like that's what the news is like right now. So there's literally nothing for us to talk about for legitimate news stuff right now.
And like I told them, it's pretty much Pikmin 4, which everybody's enjoying. Great game, super improved. Everyone's having fun. Good game.
And Baldur's Gate.
Diablo 4. People are getting ready for the new season, and Baldur's Gate 3. So that's pretty much. It's been quiet these last.
And I think the only thing news-wise in the last 2 weeks anyway has been the rumor that Nintendo is releasing in 2020.
That was what I was gonna say. Is like, we could talk about Chicken probably being right because they haven't confirmed it yet, but that's the rumor that's going around, and he already said that. So I mean, like, there's just nothing actual to talk about right now. So
well, like I said, I went through their timeline and I saw that like this year would be the year that they would at least announce it so that they could stay on track for next year's release, which perfect timing. Well, they'll probably announce it. You said that they had a booth set up at one of the PAX.
Oh yeah,
or Gamescom or something.
Yeah, so PAX West, which I'm going to, like, I've traditionally had gone to. I didn't last year just because I went to San Diego TwitchCon, but with it, you had an opportunity to sign up for their Nintendo Live for PAX West, but then they had to draw your number or your name, and I won that lottery essentially, and for Sunday on the trip, so I will spend 8 hours at Nintendo Live.
Whoop.
Yeah.
8 hours. They gotta be announcing something big.
Maybe. I'm just wondering if like everybody that signed up got in. You know what I mean? Like that's what I feel like it's gonna end up being. But
Because there's no
they
more
are gonna be
E3,
there.
so can't announce it there.
But the thing about it is too, and a lot of people don't realize this, that Nintendo America is located in Redmond, Washington, which is right outside of Seattle. They were the first video game company to be located in Redmond area. And the reason why that I know, yay, y'all get to learn, is because of the fact that when they were moving from Japan to the United States for their stuff, originally they were part of the arcade market, right? Because it was way before any of the other stuff happened.
Yeah.
And they realized that it took an extra week and a half to get, because at that time everything was on the East Coast that was in the video game market, and it took an extra week and a half to get the video game stuff over to the other side of the United States. So he goes, Redmond it is. We're going to choose Redmond, Washington, and that's where we're going to be located at.
Because it's
So
easier.
I'm pretty sure they're the very first, because it was early on in the industry. And they released a couple of games in the United States before this weird game called Donkey Kong was released and made them the
Hey, to be
name
fair,
that they are today.
that's a weird game. There's a big giant monkey throwing barrels at you. It's, you know, almost as weird as like Chicken's like, you need to catch up on all the Exoprimal story. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And the story, it's one of those things where like, this is a game that's probably more along the lines of like a AA game instead of a AAA game. And the story reads that way, where you've got this eclectic character group and they're all realistic enough, but there's enough camp and comedy that some of it's kind of, you know, still in that vein
Cheesy?
of cheese.
Cheesy.
And that's fine. But Chicken got mad at me because I was watching the story and they got to this one part, like, of one of the side stories to explain what something is in the context of the world. And, it was just
It's
one of
hard
those
to
things
explain
where...
that without spoiling it.
Yeah, it is hard to explain it without spoiling it. But it got to a point where it was like serious, off the wall, but not intentionally. Like, it didn't feel like it was like, oh, look, and I told a joke about ball sweat or something in the middle of a serious conversation. It was like, yes, this is entirely serious. Entirely serious. And I'm like, can we stop? Did you just do the
folks,
thing?
This is why she can't enjoy B movies and such.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I am willing to give you a large amount of flex. We're fighting dinosaurs. There's an AI that doesn't believe in pants that sends us through time and space to fight in these war games constantly to justify the story. I will give you all of that. It is absolutely insane. It makes zero sense. I am a mech. I'm a person in a mech suit fighting dinosaurs. Okay? It's weird, and that in and of itself is strange, and I'll give you that, and I'll go with you on this weird storyline that we've got too. But there's a point where, like, you're getting too close to the line of it just being stupid. You're getting too close to the line of it just being stupid, and I know you want me to take this seriously. Okay, you crossed into stupid and then jump back in.
She moved that line because when I first played this game, time traveling dino mechs jumped over the line and off the cliff of stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
but they made it, but that's the thing is they told you a story in which it made sense, and then they threw this one thing in it, and it's just...
Time traveling dinos is off the cliff, off the rails, ridiculous.
But within the if you can make it make sense within the context of the world and it's still believable, that's fine.
And
but then you
even-
did this one thing, and it is
And
too
I
much
agree with
for
her on
me.
this one, but I also, but I think you're both kind of on the same path on this one, because I think what you're trying to say is basically, okay, this is a stupid idea, because we all thought when we first saw it, we go, oh cool,
mech
dinosaurs,
suits,
but
dinosaurs,
this is dumb.
time
It's gonna
travel.
be stupid,
Time
right?
traveling mech suit fighting dinos, like that is just.
But if you can go, but like she's saying, if you can create a plot line that, though this doesn't make sense in general,
Right.
but it fits the world they've created, the universe they've created,
Right.
then you're fine. And that's where she's going, I'm now invested in the universe you've created, and you've gone back to the stupid idea.
You've taken one like screwball turn, and it's not gonna ruin the whole game for me, but it's one of those things where it's like in my brain I'm gonna ignore that happened.
That's where we have to agree. Like, I feel like that piece of information fits right into the ridiculousness of this entire ball.
I think that there is a level of seriousness to the world that they've created that they're trying to get across. I mean, we watched a dude get his brain burned out, okay?
Yeah, I mean, you
There's
understand
some
the social
serious,
commentary.
Well, yeah, if
the
you don't
full-up social commentary of this whole entire game too.
once they start explaining what why they're using the dinosaurs and everything, and if you don't understand that they're like, this is fossil fuels and this
Right.
is what
Like,
Big
it's-
Corp does, then you're
Mhm.
just a moron.
It is 100% a satire story.
It's not a satire story. It's a story where they're, making a parable essentially of their own, where it's like, this is all the bad stuff, this is why it's bad. Big fossil fuel, this is what you're doing. Y'all are dipshits. But just this one thing that they threw out there, and I'm like, could have not done that, and it would have been, fine. I'm gonna ignore that is the thing that you showed me, and it will not change this in the least for me, because I can't take you seriously if you want me to believe that.
See, that's where we have to agree. It's like, that's the one thing she chooses not to think, but time traveling dinos.
It's
is
because you
completely
set up
believable.
why those things are all plausible, and this still doesn't make any sense. You went, that's kind of funny, let's just do it, but you did it at a time that wasn't funny. It's like you're giving the eulogy at a funeral, and then you make a loud fart because the church is quiet and you thought it was going to be hilarious. Not the time and place. That would be funny in other circumstances, but it does not fit here.
We'd have to get other people to chime in on that, because to me it is perfectly fine. Like, it actually has
funeral?
a point and plot inside of that, and I don't see it as being funny or ridiculous. Like, it actually, again, we need more people to get to that part.
I'll tell you what it is after the podcast so that we don't spoil it for anybody else, and then you can throw your 2 cents in on it. But I'm not gonna tell you right now.
I mean, even your sister thought it was funny.
That's fine. My sister and I have very different tastes in seriousness,
yes,
and stuff. So,
and to be fair, you can't even tell him without him having the full context of it. Like, you could just point and tell him. He'd have to go and watch it and see all the information.
I think we can sum it up well enough. It'll be all right.
It's still not gonna make enough sense.
Regardless,
Exoprimal
is a fun game as long as you can ignore that part of the story. Like, it's literally one detail.
Or if you enjoy it, it makes the story even better.
Well, that's fine. If you enjoy it, that's fine.
If you enjoy it, you're wrong to her. So.
I didn't say you're wrong. If you enjoy it, that's fine. That's literally what I just said. It is not my thing.
As long as you ignore that.
Yeah, that's fine. I can ignore that. It doesn't change anything. It's not part of
Still gonna enjoy the game, is what she's telling me.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of a side shoot just to explain another mechanic, which is fine. It's a thing that I don't have to look at too hard to enjoy the rest of it.
I mean, that's part of the whole game. You don't have to look at the explanation too hard to enjoy the game. I mean, how people don't even play this story.
Well, that's sad, but I also think part of that is because you do have to go and watch half of it in the wheel instead of it telling you the story in order. So,
well, if you actually do the story, you can play around, watch some story, play around, watch some story, because you get a data log or two after every single match.
Yeah, but it's still one of those things where you gotta stop playing, go watch the thing, come back to your next round. It doesn't tell you as you go. You've got to go to it still, which is not awful. I think it hits that right spot of, I don't care, I want to shoot dinosaurs, or I do care, I'm going to play around, watch the story, play around, watch the story. It gives you best of both worlds, but it's just one of those things where some people who might like the story will not experience it because they're just going to keep hitting the match button.
Yeah, well,
like the bell for food. You're like, ding, ding, more, ding, ding, more.
Well, the thing is they won't be able to play the end game stuff unless they have 100% story completion. So.
That's true. Well, it's like 90 something, isn't it? Because you don't get 100 until
100.
you do. But I couldn't get to 100. It's locked.
Because you haven't played the rest. You haven't gotten the last cinematic or gotten the last bit of data logs.
Well, that's fine. Maybe we'll do that.
Once you get those, then it unlocks the last story mission that you can just get randomly, and it unlocks the Savage Gauntlet. Once you have 100%. Because I did the last story mission before I had it unlocked too. I got it randomly.
I want to know how their numbers are.
I don't know.
They're huge on Steam, or they're huge on
Xbox
Game Pass.
Yeah, I was about to say, because everybody's playing it on Game Pass. People didn't buy it; they played it on Game Pass.
I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Is it going to be one of those where they're going to go, okay, we've got 2 months and we're taking it off, you know, let's say
Well,
a year
it's
from now.
like a
They're
couple
gonna-
weeks out from the new update for it, right? The
10
second,
days. 10
yeah,
days.
it's 2 weeks about for the second set of, or the exosuit second option kind of deal, like where it's like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
Barrage, but I'm gonna play Barrage Suit 2 or whatever it
Alt.
is. Yeah.
Rocket launcher.
So they're close to that, and I think if they can kind of keep up a similar drop in of new content, that that it will keep people going. But I think that that's the question: is what's their actual longevity plan for this? Because you've got the second set of exosuits. Will there be more suits in general? Like, will there be add-on suits, or are these all of them, and you're just going to continuously give us additions to these suits? What's the plan on like maps and things? Because people are going to get tired of doing the same set of maps over and over too.
There's a lot of maps. I think there's like 20 different maps that you can get randomly, and then there's like 8 story modes.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot. But if you longevity-wise want this to keep going for like a couple of years or whatever,
I mean,
that's
look
not
at
enough.
Overwatch. You look at Overwatch; they have less.
I guess that's true. I guess that's
Like,
I mean,
it's-
but they
it's
I guess they
always
also drop in more characters content, because
But
they
with-
could do like a new character every
Not
season
really,
or something, don't they? I don't know. I've stopped playing it again, so I don't care.
It's the gameplay loop is the most important thing. As long as you continuously enjoy playing that loop, you're going to keep playing it.
So
will-
It's fun.
is the I don't think I've ever asked this question. Is the dinosaur, like what dinosaur movements happening? So like what's gonna appear and all that shit, especially as you get further in on the map or whatever. Is it this is the game mode, so therefore this is what is dropping, or is it RNG for when they drop?
No, it's the same. Like, if you load
There's,
in on
like-
the airport map, the first dinosaur that drops in will tell you what game mode you're about to play. So then it'll you're like,
yeah.
okay, I know it'll be this one, or
Like, I think there's 8 maps, and then there's like 5 to 6 variations on each of those maps based on it, and you can kind of like once you play it a lot, you can kind of start feeling where they're going with it. Like if it's lighter dinos early, you could tell that it's going to be a lighter mode until you get to the end,
or
and
it's
probably
like
gonna be a
in one of the
bigger one.
starter maps. I think like the very first map we ever played on, one of the harder modes of it is like as soon as you load in, instead of it being raptors, it's like here's a Carno and some raptors, and that means that it's going to be the 10-player mission. Once whichever team kills the Carno, it's going to load you into the 10-player side of things instead of it being a full-on play this map.
The Neo T-Rex mission where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I know we're going to the building, and it's the Neo dinosaurs and the Ankylo. You kill it, and then you run out to the park, and then it's the Carno, and you're like, okay.
So yeah, it does
this
have
is the Neo
specific
T-Rex.
things. I think if there was RNG on that, like where you're like, okay, well it's this map, but all of a sudden there's Ankylos spawning in, and I don't know what that means, instead of it being the Carno or the Raptors. Like I see how that would add more variety too, so that you didn't
That's
know.
why I asked the question, because I was like, if you did that, then there's definitely a whole lot of replayability.
There have
you
been
can
a
memorize
couple-
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There have been a couple where I haven't played yet. Like it's been a setup where I haven't seen. Because I think I've only done the one with the T-Rex early twice. It's on the oil rig map, and the first thing you fight when you get to that zone is a T-Rex. And it's like, okay, I've only seen that one twice, and then I've done the oil rig map like 8 times, and I've only seen that one twice. There's the Ankylo ones, the Packy ones. I don't know. I've seen a bunch of variations on that one. And then the end one, the second phase is random.
Yeah.
I haven't, like, I've done escort ones, I've done collect the cubes, I've done PvE ones, like I've done a bunch of different ones on the oil rig map for phase 2. Like he'll mix and match depending on anything. Like it's just RNG what you get for phase 2. He'll just set it up, and then that's
I
what it
will
is.
say
It's just
though,
random.
like because some people are like, I keep playing the game, but I keep getting these Magnum missions. Magnum missions mean that you need to progress the story a little more so that you can stop getting it. Like realistically,
you'll
that
still
mission,
randomly
you'll
get
still
it.
get it randomly because it's based on whoever the lowest person in the party is. So like even if it's not your party, you get loaded in with some randos. If they're at that point, that's what you're gonna be playing. So you go past the Magnum mission, go to your little story circle at the end, watch the thing so that you can get past that part. You'll be less likely to get it. But oh my god, that mission! Like you load up and he's like, "Hey, hard case," and I'm like, Magnum, I really like you as a character, but this mission takes way too long for just nothing to be happening.
It's 20 minutes total. And I will say that it has at least one of my favorite moments in any of the missions so far.
Which is
the bridge.
Oh yeah, the bridge with all the
Yeah, the
difficulty modifier or whatever it is.
Yeah. And then the fucking thing starts up there, and then it's that small moment of pure deafening silence right before it explodes, because it just goes completely deaf and then just goes boom.
And you're like, oh,
and then
that's like 50,000
like,
raptors. Rappers, that'd be
Yeah.
a different game.
Yeah.
That's like a Saints Row offshoot.
And as for the roadmap, because I got it pulled up here, they're doing a Savage Gauntlet. So once you're finished the story, you get to do a special, very difficult mode every weekend. It's like Thursday or Friday to Monday, and then you have 3 days off, and then it's Friday to Monday again. It's different modes or different time trials every week, and the last week's was not too bad. It was pretty easy. This week's is fucking difficult. Oh my god, they definitely raised the difficulty of this one. I tried it like 8 times and failed until I just recently got it, and not with 9 minutes or 8 minutes and 50 seconds out of 10 minutes, I was in the top 30%.
Wow.
Yeah, like that one is so hard, it's very difficult to finish. So it's different every weekend, which is good. It gives you something to do. So the first update is coming August 16th. They're going to add 2 alpha variant exosuits. So every suit gets a second spec. You have to raise it to level 20 in order to unlock that second suit. And they're adding 34 modules to the game. So a ton of more add-ons that you have to buy and upgrade. Everyone's got a ton of Bitcoins, so
not bit.
Spend them as you got them.
BIK, not BIT.
Season 2 is going to add a new map, new rigs, modules, and a new final mission. And then they're going to do a Capcom collaboration with Street Fighter 6 for that one.
How's that gonna work?
Melee
it's probably going to be skins
only.
I mean, maybe. This is the RE engine, and they build everything off of their RE engine now. So,
also checking the Baldur's Gate achievements updated. I just wanted you to know, so you don't have to panic anymore.
Thank goodness.
68.8%.
That's better. Season 3, title update 3. This is the one I'm looking forward to because I want to see this one. They're going to do beta variants, so all exosuits are going to get an alpha and a beta version of themselves. So every suit will have 3 different specs, which is, to me, a cheap way to add variety to it. Instead of making new mechs, you just
I do think that at some point they're gonna have to make more mechs, though.
I think it's too early on to do that now, though.
I think it's still early. People are still unlocking things, but like for me specifically, and I know I'm not the only one like this, I've unlocked almost every single barrage skin. I have the one that I like. So like I kind of want to play something that looks a little different. Not necessarily, same play style or anything, but like you can unlock all of them relatively quickly. Like I've got a lot of skins for a lot of the mechs already.
I mean, yeah, but you don't play any other mech but Barrage.
Well, I understand that, but there are people who are playing like you who do play a lot of them, but you're like, I've got the skin that I like and that's it. So it's not anything else to do.
The skins
question,
are
story-wise, it follows your character, not your mech, correct?
Right.
Yes, your character.
Okay.
It follows Ace.
Your silent protagonist. They went straight silent protagonist. Like you'll be in the story map watching a cutscene, and the people like Alders will be like, right, Ace. Oh, you're asleep. Oh, okay. Like so because they like completely negate your character ever saying anything ever.
full on meme worthy. I love it. To be fair, Baldur's Gate has silent protagonists too.
Well, I mean, you get chat choices. You're not silent in the fact that you don't have any input. You're silent in the fact that your character lines are not voiced.
Ace has facial expressions.
Ace, yeah, okay.
Because I feel like if when you're choosing stuff in Baldur's Gate, you're gonna say the line as you do it. Like click. So it's not silent because you can hear yourself.
Yes.
Versus Ace has no lines.
But for Season 3, for the roadmap for Exoprimal, they're going to do the beta variant suits, and they'll be releasing a new Neo dinosaur, which is the Neo Triceratops. That I am looking forward to, because the Neo T-Rex is an absolute monster. The Neo Triceratops is probably going to be something fueled by nightmares.
Probably.
The Triceratops is awful. And then they'll be doing the Capcom collaboration number 2, Monster Hunter Edition, which is...
So you get dragons?
which is where they took inspiration for this game from too. Like, because I read the thing.
Are they
going to
claim this is the same universe?
Probably not. Reading the interview with the director and how he tried to get this game funded or started, because it's hard to do with IPs on these companies because they're always scared to try things. But he's like, yeah, it's just gonna be Monster Hunter. We're gonna try it, and so they were like, yeah, go ahead, see what you can do with it. And well,
I mean,
okay, it's fun, sure. It's an absolutely ridiculous piece of fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
It is a fun
It really
game.
is.
It's a lot more fun than people were ever thinking it was going to be, and the only reason it's succeeding,
Game Pass.
Game Pass.
I mean, it's the only reason that we're playing it, because we weren't all gonna spend $60.
$60 for that damn game.
No.
Hell no.
No.
Sorry, Capcom.
Yeah,
It's
it's fun, but it's not a $60 brand new game fun. You know, it's I bought this for $40. I will get my $40 out of it. Kind of fun.
To be fair, yeah, if it was $40, that's fine. But I will give it to them. They are so, as Griff was literally just saying, they are so goddamn generous with all the cosmetics in the game. You don't ever have to worry about anything.
Yeah, you
The
don't
battle-
have
like,
to
you
do.
The only thing you feel like you have to buy is the battle pass, and even then, it's just one of those.
If you want to.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd
do I
really
pay
like that.
$9 or do I not?
Yeah, it's like, oh man.
To be
if it was
fair, I
40
don't
bucks,
really
I'd be
care
like,
for
let me get on that.
the battle pass skins that much, though.
I like the Shimmering Cat one because I have.
Well,
become a
yeah, okay, that one's very
hardcore-
cute. Vigilant.
Hardcore Vigilant main. Ooh, she is awesome. She's like a mega version of Widowmaker. She's a ton of fun.
Yeah. Are you okay over there?
Putting my shoes back on. I took them off earlier.
I'm at home. I just don't wear my shoes at the house.
I know, right?
Well, I had a habit of wearing shoes only when I was down here because it was all concrete, and now that it's not concrete anymore, I'm trying to get back into the habit of taking my shoes off when I'm down here.
Where we park is kind of muddy, so usually it's take your shoes off when you get in the house so you don't track the mud through. So
That's fair.
We don't do that because it's dirty.
Dirty.
Like our child, everything is dirty. Yes, it is. Take your shoes off.
Mine is, I'm going downstairs. Let me put my shoes on. It's been a thing for a while. Also, once you rolled over your toes a few times with wheels.
I don't really have that problem.
I've had that problem. I have big feet, and they don't like to be in the spot they're supposed to be in, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever squished my foot with my chair. Really.
It only took me twice before I started putting shoes on.
Weirdo.
It's not as bad now because they used to. I did it on when it was on carpet, when all this downstairs was carpet. Yeah, that'd get stuck and then roll over my toe.
Oh man, I guess that's like a majority of everything that we have done. Well, I mean, I've been playing Dragon's Dogma, although I have no idea what I'm gonna do that now that I have Baldur's Gate. Damn it!
Right?
I have too many things to do and not enough time. Thank God it's coming up to fall.
I still have to finish Dave the Diver, and like right now, I'm at a part right now that I know I'm getting close to the end because I can look at the achievements that are available, and I'm like, I'm getting close, but I don't want to end it.
Finish it and move on to Baldur's Gate.
I have like 30,000 things I still need to do in Dragon's Dogma, and it's one of those where it's like I'm so invested in what's happening, and these like this side character that I'm like waiting for another mission for them to pop up so that I can be like, nah, I'm not talking to you ever again. I'm gonna be petty about it.
Lightning, very, very frightening.
But now it's like, well, but okay, but I have Baldur's Gate now, and I have like 30,000 other things, like 4,000 irons in the fire, and I don't have time for all of them, and I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Baldur's Gate.
It's
Baldur's
a wonderful problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. It's been a good year. It has been a great year for video games.
And it's not over.
And it's not over. God
we
damn.
Still got a Spider-Man game on the way.
We got Starfield on the way.
Like
oh my God.
Got this is 2020 2023
Silent Hill 2 is rumored on the way.
Yeah, rumored. I'm like her. I don't believe that, but you know. So 2023 has been a great gaming year.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, and you still got Armor Cores coming out. I'm actually very surprised that's coming out after last year was Elden Ring. like back to back.
June.
They're releasing games like that. But
Liza P is coming out too, isn't it? Or did it
Yeah.
just come out?
Yep.
No, it's coming out in September.
Okay. 'Cause,
yeah,
I mean,
Hell
that
yeah.
one's gonna be
A lot of
another
them.
one where people are like, "I'm busy. I have the Liza P-itis. Sorry, can't come to work."
All of us, because I know we do our little game night on Fridays and whatnot. If we
Yeah.
get a Game Pass, if everybody, all 7 of us has Game Pass, we need to download Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a 7-player game, 4 versus 3.
Well, yeah, but you got to convince Red to show up on a Friday. He
Hey,
was
if he
only here
does
this
show
Friday
up.
because his plans fell through.
Well, whatever. Again, but it's a 4 versus 3, which is a super interesting dynamic. Playing a little bit in the
Mhm.
beta was fun, actually, and it didn't really feel like you were heavily outnumbered. So, it was fun.
I think Snit's the only one that doesn't have Game Pass, isn't he?
got Game
He
Pass,
does right
he-
now. Yeah, he tried out the Dino game with us, remember? And his PC
that's right.
doesn't want to.
Yeah, we gotta
Ooh,
get
I
him.
wonder how
We
it's
gotta
gonna
get him
do
up.
with Texas.
Yeah, kind of same. We gotta see what we need to
that's-
upgrade for him. He's not gonna
that's
be
an
available
older
next
game.
weekend anyway.
Yeah.
But
let's
we
see.
that point still stands. We do still need to see
Yes.
what we can do to help him upgrade a little bit.
Payday 3, Gothic Classic.
Payday
There's, like,
3's
big
this year? I
games.
thought it was next year.
No, Payday 3.
Wow.
It's coming out this year.
That one's not a priority for me. That was like, if y'all want to play it at some point, it's on Game Pass. I'll think about
It's
it.
on-
But
It's on Game
Um,
Pass.
I got Saints Row coming out that I need to also put some time
City
into.
Skylines 2.
That one will
Alone
wait.
in the Dark.
The City Skylines 2 will be there for when I am ready for it. So
Alone in the Dark's gonna be okay. I want to watch other people play it before I'm gonna buy that because
Yeah, I
if it's
need to
anything like the
see-
2008 version, there's no way I'm touching it. And the graphics don't look updated. And so they've got to do something with the gameplay and the narrative to make that game to where people really gonna want to buy it. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good year for games.
Definitely. Anything else? It's storming
Nope,
here. I just
there's
oh.
your
No.
hour.
I can't see the storm from in here because my office has no windows. So if it's stormy, let's go ahead and go. And then I have to go play some Baldur's Gate now because I've
We
made
got
some friends.
chores. We got
No!
chores, but
Why
yeah.
do you make me put away the laundry? Just leave it in the basket for 6 weeks like we're, high school students.
Or just do like I do, leave it in the dryer and then go by and hit the button to let it run for 30 minutes.
Well, we can't do that, so.
Oh.
Well, we do appreciate everyone that hangs out with us each every week on Infinite Respawn.
Each and every
Actually,
other
it's every other week.
That's right, every
Right.
other week. Which even then, like, can you imagine us trying to do 2 shows in a row or 3 shows in a row like this where there's
Oh my God.
nothing to
That's
talk
where we
about?
What even for a show with nothing to talk about? We are over an hour.
Okay, but we're
Actually,
only
no,
over
yeah.
an hour because we before the show
Because
bullshitted
we're
for like
amazing.
5 to
That's
10
why.
minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
so some of that's
Well, that's fine. Minus 3 minutes, so hurry up and finish. We can get under an hour.
Go.
Make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313, where we're getting closer to the fall. Chicken's got some games to play. He just mentioned 1 million of them that are coming out just in the fall alone. So he's got plenty to play then. Also, make sure you go to kick.com/MDBOaktree, where I'm on there almost every day of the week. And you can catch me on there. And then I'll be on Twitch every once in a while too. You can catch me over there. Same exact thing except Twitch. And if you first time on the show, go back to an old show, you'll hear it. I promise. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
Bye.
See you.